Hello, welcome to Storytime and Crafts with me, Karasu. Today I'm going to be doing a WIP and Chat. I normally do these with diamond paintings, but I am right now working on a skirt that I have been kind of obsessing over the last couple days. WIP and Chat stands for Work in Progress, and Chat just I'm going to talk about what's been going on in my life, and hopefully I can start getting back to doing these at a normal time. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. If you are coming back, thank you for coming back and visiting with me. I kind of took a little bit of a break on doing these and kind of YouTube in general back in October of last year. My mental health kind of took a nosedive. So I am hoping to get back into the swing of things. Me and my family have been doing decent. Unfortunately, our local school district has been having a nasty bug that's been going around. So my youngest, if you happen to hear him, is home and is running around hacking and coughing, and that's also why you probably hear kind of the whole frog in my throat, because he of course has shared. He's been home quite a bit this past in January, which I can't believe it's already February. Let me know how you guys are doing. If you guys have kids, how well are they faring this flu season? My oldest has luckily been able to skirt the illnesses that have been going through my house, since we've all been sharing back and forth. Let's see. I've been working on this quite a bit. I finally figured out how to do a rib stitch. I am a self-taught knitter. I tried to teach myself when I was a teenager. I am normally a crocheter by heart, so finding myself drawn to knitting needles is kind of strange, but at least it feels weird to me, to the fact that I've been knitting the past year. So I only know 2 stitches, technically 3 stitches. I know the basic knitting stitch. I know the purl stitch. I finally figured out how to do a rib stitch, so I decided to make myself a nice little skirt. But this is my own pattern. This isn't a pattern that I found. I just decided that I was going to start by going back and forth, then created a slit technically in the back of the skirt, then started going in circles, and I got up to the point where it's like, okay, it's long enough now, how do I want to do a waistband? And I sat with a lot of YouTube videos going, how do I do a rib stitch? And then the fun of deciding, well, what type of rib stitch? Do I want it to be a 2-bar or a 3-bar or that sort of thing? So I just did a 1-bar rib stitch. And if I am getting the lingo incorrect, please let me know. I am willing to learn. So I'm going to do pretty much a hand's width, which I am actually almost there, before I'm going to be casting this off. I'm taking a break from my manic running around today. I've got to prepare to go to a doctor's appointment tomorrow with the whole family. We live close to a state border, and because our town is so rural, we don't have a whole lot of resources here to deal with my husband's medical, so a lot of the times we have to go to a different town. We are right now working on cleaning, packing, because it's a day trip pretty much. I haven't really been doing a whole lot of cross-stitching lately, so since I drive, I don't get a chance to craft. And tomorrow I'll be homeschooling my kids, technically. We're doing a project. Excuse me, I need a drink. A good tea. Good black tea. We're doing a trial run for next school year because I plan on homeschooling both the kids next school year. Just because my husband is slowly losing the ability to not only travel but also walk. He's done an extremely good job of tolerating the pain that he deals with, but it's inevitable with the condition that he has that eventually he will need a walker, he will need a wheelchair. But he's been dealing with this for, how long? It's 2023, so he's been dealing with it for almost 23 years. In July, it'll be 23 years since his accident. Oh, my stitch marker, I don't have any, so I just looped a hair tie around, randomly grabbed one because that's my starting stitch. So when I go to cast off, I'll start there and go around. No, my husband, unfortunately, his condition, we're starting to find out, may be hereditary. So I am worried about my kids. Stuff that they may or may not have to deal with when they get older. It's kind of a wait and see, and I try to prevent. Oops, sorry, I kind of moved away from you. You guys couldn't see what I was doing. But we have to go to his doctor, which is 300 miles. No, it's about 200 miles away. So an hour and a half to 2 hours with everybody in the car. So I'll be homeschooling my kids on the road pretty much, which is fine by me. It gives me practice next school year. Wrong way. We plan on doing a trip, a week trip a month, just to go see things. I mean, my kids have never been to a zoo. My kids have never been to the ocean, since we do live a good distance, but it's still a weekend trip pretty much for us to go to the ocean, to go to the coast. And I can turn those into learnable things. And I live in Oregon. I live next to the Oregon-Idaho border, so we want to go to OMSI. For those that may not know what OMSI is, it's a learning museum of the Oregon, what is it? Oregon Sciences something. My oldest has been there multiple times. We used to have to go to Portland constantly because we've always lived rural. We've always lived a distance away from some of the bigger towns. So, getting ready for that trip, trying to calm my anxiety. I've been knitting, diamond painting when I can. I'm working on a mystery diamond painting, so I have to find other projects to show you guys because I won't be showing that on my channel. Another reason that I kind of took a break is the fact that I found out that the way I was doing my story times technically can be considered copyright if I finish the books. So I am trying to figure out other ways to do stories. I'm looking into the books that are part of public domain. So until I can find a book that I'm willing to read, which for me is the hard part, because I love modern day books. I'm not really one for the old stories. I mean, I've tried reading Grimm's fairy tales, and that did not go over well for me. I don't like the format that a lot of those are put into, so the Old English. Dang. Get another drink here. So instead, what I'm going to do is at the end of this WIP and Chat, I've actually finished a book recently that I want to share with you guys, so kind of do a book review on it. Granted, I am somebody who loves young adult, even though that genre, young adult fantasy. So that's where I'm going to be working at this point. That's where I'm reading. I do have a couple series that I've started the series, but I'm like on book 3 or 4 of it. And I will do reviews on the first book, so you guys can decide on whether you want to pick up that series or suggest it to a family member or something like that. Let's see, what else have I been doing lately? On my quieter days, I've actually been watching, watching Sandman on Netflix, and the Witcher series. I'm rewatching that one since I didn't catch Blood and Origin, which is, I think, the most recent series of that one, season of that one that came out, or supplementary. And once I start, unfortunately, watching that particular show, The Witcher, I start reading the books again. I have all of those. I will probably do a review on those books next time I do a WIP and Chat, just so you guys understand what I'm talking about. For me, the Witcher series on Netflix was a starting point. I know about the games. My husband had played the games back in, I think we were introduced to the series itself back in 2018 when the 3rd game came out. And I, at that time, was like, I'm too busy taking care of an infant, because my youngest was born around the time that we got it. So I wasn't coherent. And my husband deals with insomnia, so I like watching games rather than playing them. So it's like, ooh, this is a good story. Well, what else can I find on it? And that's when I stumbled across the books. And I listen to audiobooks a lot of the times because I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly on the go. So that's something right now I'm going through what my husband calls my Witcher phase. So right now I'm on season 2 of rewatching the original Witcher series on Netflix for the 4th or 5th time. I do enjoy the storyline of it. I'm excited about the next season, but at the same time, I'm leery on it, since from, of course, rumor and publicity, the next season doesn't follow the books very well, which I can understand in some aspects of it why they wouldn't want to, because there is some stuff that's can be quite brutal in the books, hard to stomach nowadays. And there are some aspects of The Witcher that are not popular. So, not popular for a not popular opinion. So, to cut those out of a TV series that everybody is more watching for the actor and not the story, I could see it. I am kind of curious, though, on how Henry Cavill's replacement is going to do in season 5. So, 4 or 5. Yeah, and 4 and 5, so I'll have to wait and see on that one. But pretty much I get into these states where it's like, okay, I want to watch all the series again. I want to watch all the supplement stuff. And then I want to turn around and read all the books or listen to them, depending on what I have time for. Because there have been times when I'll crack open the books and I'll actually read the books. But if that's something that you guys like me to do or wish to have a discussion on, hey, I don't care as long as everybody's nice. I actually don't have a whole lot of people that watch it around me, so I don't get to have much of a conversation when it comes to The Witcher, other than my husband, which he's really not a fan of. He likes the game just because it's an open world, but he always goes back to his 2 major favorite games, and I have watched and I have discussed and listened to him geek out over those 2 games for years now. So it's like, I'm tired of watching those, but I'm glad you figured it out, or I'm glad you found a new way of doing it, sort of thing. So I love him to death. Oop, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bump the camera. I love him to death, but at the same time, he can be... Oop, what am I doing? That's what I'm doing. He doesn't have a whole lot of people to talk to about his games, so I listen. I don't watch his games much anymore. I used to watch him all the time. I mean, I didn't really watch TV shows, or I didn't really watch movies and stuff like that. I still really don't. I sit down and watch movies with him, or we're trying to, I should say, set a movie day where if the kids are home, we'll watch a movie with them. If they're not home or in school and stuff like that, we'll watch a movie. Or we'll pick a night once a month. We're gonna hope to that we'll stay up late and watch an adult movie, pretty much. So we're not always just watching kids' movies. I know one of the most recent ones of those that we did was the John Wick series. That one was fun to watch. Now that we're finally all caught up and everything, so we'll ready for the next one when it comes out. Let's see. Traveling, I already talked about that one. What's going on in my life? I was able to get to the doctor's the end of November. So I'm 2-3 months into my trial medication to kind of help with my anxiety and depression. They're working to a point. The last combination that I had, I just couldn't keep up with the regimen. So it kind of went to the wayside, and then I relapsed again. So if I am still dealing with whatever cold that my kids have given me, but on top of that, dealing with the anxiety, the seasonal depression, because I do have seasonal depression, has kind of kicked my butt. Spring is on its way. I'm happy the fact that I am going to be able to have a garden this year. I have already told myself once it gets above, 50 degrees during the day, that once it starts doing that more than, I think, 1 or 2 days in a row, I'll start setting it that I'm outside for 30 minutes to an hour doing yard work, no matter the temperature or whatever. Just kind of set that goal for myself, because there's a lot of yard work to do for me. Winter came rather quickly, so none of my fall stuff I was able to get done. My fall cleaning and everything cutting trees and trimming bushes, none of that got done. So I have to do that before everything starts budding on me. So let's see if I can do this without hitting the... Oop. Sounds like my washer's done. Trying to get clothes clean so I don't have as much to do this weekend, because my oldest has a performance, and with my youngest being sick, I had to get all the bedding cleaned and all the clothes cleaned. We do laundry once, well, I can't say once a week, it's every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we do laundry. And in typical fashion, all of it's clean, maybe a third of it's folded, and it takes a full week to get it put away. My oldest is coming up on being 10, so I don't know if that's going to be too early or not for him to do his own. He already knows how to run the washer and dryer. I mean, over the summer, a lot of the times I will designate a day that he's in charge of keeping track of the washer and dryer, because he's downstairs, which is where I normally film. Is downstairs in our basement, my little dungeon. So he already knows how to run the washer and dryer. My youngest knows what buttons to push. So I'm debating on, once he turns 10, to sit him down and go, okay, here's the stuff that you're responsible for. Because he's getting to the point where he needs to start doing his chores consistently. And I know if I make it something that doesn't affect him very much, or he doesn't see all the time, he's not gonna do them. So I'm debating on letting him be in charge of his clothes. I won't do that this year with him, just because he has uniforms that he has to wear, and we only have 4 of them. So I make sure that those are all clean. And come to find out, he only has 4 pairs of pants too. So it's like, okay, 4 pairs of jeans. Since he has 4 pairs of jeans and 1 pair of slacks for his performances that he has once a month. And so it's like, okay, gonna have to save up some money and get the poor boy some jeans, but at the same time, do I really want to do that when he wears shorts and sweatpants all summer? Can't keep that boy in clothes half the time. Most summers he's in sweatpants or swim trunks. So I may wait until next fall to get him more jeans, in case he does a growth spurt on me. That, and it gives me time to look at the clearance section when it comes to spring, because they normally have jeans on clearance around here when all the summer stuff comes out. So I always buy stuff when it's on clearance and buy it a couple sizes too big. There's a local store around here that I tend to exchange clothes in, so that also helps. Let's see, project-wise, I have my cross stitch that I'm doing. I'm debating on putting away my Pikachu cross stitch and pulling out my geisha with her reading book, just because it's what is it this month? It's sorry, my brain is completely fried. It's People of Color month, if I remember correctly. So I think I'll work on that one this month. The geisha with her reading book, and put away my Pikachu, so at least for a little bit. When I actually get back to cross stitching, if I get back to it. I jump projects nonstop and constantly, so don't be surprised if you guys get a lot of random projects. I like to diamond paint more in the summer and the fall than any other time. I didn't think I would like go gung-ho on knitting the last couple weeks, so I finished a blanket. I knitted a blanket of all my random skeins that I had around my house in December, and my youngest stole that from me. That was supposed to go in the car, but it didn't make it there. My youngest decided to run off with it, which is fine. I didn't get a chance to block it anyway, so by the time that he'll give it back to me, which will be about probably summertime, I can block it and get it to my car where I want it. Oh, his birthday's coming up soon too. If you guys have any ideas for a birthday theme, I should say, for a 5-year-old. I still can't believe my youngest is turning 5. But then again, I can't believe that I bought a house 4 years ago. So, has it been 4 years? Yeah, it's been 4 years. Wow. So, okay, now I'm running out of things to talk about right now, and unfortunately I have to pause anyways and help my husband with trash and all that, taking care of the house as typical. So I am going to stop this and tell you a little bit about the book that I finished. Now, granted, this is a young adult fantasy, and of course you guys probably know the Star Wars. So this is a Star Wars book called Padawan by Kiersten White. Yeah, I have no idea when this thing came out. I noticed that my library had it on their new bookshelf that they have, but so it's probably came out this year, or no, end of last year, I should say. This is pretty much Obi-Wan right after he becomes a Padawan, I should say, and him going off on his own to figure out what balance pretty much means to him. It's a great adventure, in my opinion. It's very well written for young adults that like Star Wars. Let's see. Other than that, I would pick it up at the library, or I will have a link to an Amazon down below in the description box. So that is it for me today. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and hopefully I can start doing these a little bit more often. Like I said in my WIP parade, I'm hoping to do these every 2 weeks. I may do them every week depending on what's going on. So have a good weekend, guys. Bye.